Hey, everybody, this is Perch. I get so again in the spirit of a lot of questions I get. One of the questions I get is, "Hey, from your perspective, how do you sustain? How do you survive in the industry? How do you keep going?" I like that question to some extent because and I think it's a more interesting one. It's not how do I enter comics? How do I start? Because honestly, I think that part's pretty easy. Not trivial easy. You can't just like stroll in and hey, I'm interested in writing a comic. Here you go. Here's Spider Man. I mean, that's how Dan Slott got the job. But I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Well, I mean mostly. But he had done other work for Spider Man, of course. Um, but you can't just go right to the top. But if you want to make a comic, no matter who you are, no matter what your experience is, no matter any of that, you can make a comic right now. You can start plugging away. Lots of people do it. It just is a matter of are you willing to work? Are you willing to put in the effort? Cool. You too can make a comic. All right, no problem. Barely an inconvenience, as they say. So the real question is not how do I enter the industry, because the industry also is ballooned into so many different things. The industry can be crowdfunding, it can be YA, manga. I mean, the comic book industry has ballooned out to a massive, massive umbrella of anything you could possibly think of. The real question is, the good question is, how do you survive or sustain in the industry? How do you keep going in the industry? That's the better question, and that's quite frankly the harder question. Is how do you actually make it work? I think that in that regard, that's a much tougher bet, because people get rolled out of the industry on a regular basis. The comic industry is somewhat, I would say, geared to eliminating you. It is. I'm trying to think of the right words here. If you look at the comics, it tends to not favor people who stay in it for a long period of time. If you're in comics for a couple of years, you will start to get the feedback of, well, this person is a existing talent. I that's a weird phrase, but I've heard it a couple times now inside of comics. Like, this person is an existing talent as a negative. What they're really saying is, this person has been in comics, did not break through and sell a million copies of a comic, and therefore the style is old. Moving along, and a lot of people get caught up in that. I think it's very easy to get an editor who will say, "Why don't you pitch for this this comic starring Norman Osborn's kid, Normie, or a grandkid? Pitch for that comic." And the writer's like, "Well, that sounds fucking stupid, but I would like work, so I guess I will do that." And then you pitch for the comic, and of course it sells like ass, because why wouldn't it? And then the editor's like, "Wow, this writer can't sell a winning comic. We probably shouldn't work with this person again." And I mean, so yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that goes on. Editors might pitch an idea like, "Hey, we'd like you to do a mini series where Batman is replaced by a robot, and the robot is a Matrix robot," like just the worst possible dumbass ideas you could think of. And you get, as a writer, you get told to pitch for that idea, and you do it, and the comic sucks and it sells terrible, and the editor doesn't raise their hand and go, "Oh man, I totally screwed that one up. I shouldn't have. This was a bad idea. I will take the blame for that one." No, the editor goes, "Wow, this writer sucks. I guess I'll use a different writer," and on you go. Comics is still there's more supply than demand kind of industry in a lot of ways. And so, as a result, it's very easy for editors and publishers to just kind of move along and ignore it. I keep yawning here. It's terrible. I'm boring myself. This video is so dull I can't even stay awake during it. which is a danger while I'm driving, and also feeds into what Mumble says on a regular basis. So there you go. Anyway, it's hard to stay in comics. My advice, if you're in comics and you want to stay in comics, is fairly simple. Number one, avoid drama. So if you have a social media account, publish, basic kind of hype for your books and nothing else. Let's say you really would like to talk about how much Trump sucks or Biden sucks or, your feelings on how pedophiles are misunderstood. Whatever you're into. Here's what you do. Create a different account, meaning not an account with your real name, and then post all your crazy shit over there. Now, you may say to yourself, but hang on, by being a known comic artist who works for Marvel or DC or something like that, I've got a lot of followers, that follow me because I'm a comic book celebrity. And if I just created an unknown account, I'd have like 200 followers. Nobody would pay attention to me. Well, here's my solution to you. First off, go ahead and create that alt account. Don't be funny to make it sound like your name in a weird way. Just go for something, ludicrous and crazy, like street sign orange 4392. Just whatever. Just call yourself something like that. And then for your screen name, you can call yourself like Giant Dick. Whatever you want to do. Whatever Twitter will let you get away with. And then go to one of the sites online, and there are many, where you can buy Twitter followers. And buy, shell out the $80, and it costs about $80, and buy 20,000 Twitter followers, which instantly is more followers than several comic people. Way more than a lot of people. So buy 20,000 followers. Then tweet your insane shit there. And what's going to happen is, and put the right, be a little bit clever about putting like hashtag something popular. Just do that. And what's going to happen is that the followers that you bought, and by nature of kind of pegging yourself on some more popular hashtag, you'll get people who will say things basically promote you. You'll get positive comments. Okay, that's what you do. The end. And then you get to say all the crazy shit you want, and you don't fuck your career in the process. So number one, do that. Number two, and this one's maybe a little trickier. Don't engage in gossip. Just be the non-exciting person. Be the non-political person. Hey, did you hear that? Al Ewing likes to, fuck monkeys. Cool. Don't post that. Don't spread that around. Don't say anything about it. Just kind of let that go. Who knows if is it true? Is it not true? I don't know, but maybe you don't need to tell people about that. Just shut the fuck up and just focus on comics. Don't focus on whatever weird ass gossip you got. Oh, Rich Johnston is a dirty bastard who prostitutes himself on the weekend and is a completely unethical comic news writer. Cool. Well, most people think about that anyway, but maybe don't post that. Maybe don't spread rumors about that. Maybe don't call your comic friends when people in comics are like, hey, what's going on? Have you heard any good dirt lately? You're like, no, I haven't. But you know what? I'm watching that Game of Thrones dragon show, and man, there's some nudity in that thing. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know. But if I'm going, the first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones had plenty of boobs, which was great. It was a great show because it was kind of artsy, and so I could sit down and I could watch that with Mrs. Perch, and she's like, "Wow, this is a great show, and it's got a lot of good science fiction, fantasy type stuff, and it feels kind of intelligent as a show, and yeah, there's some boobs there, but I'm sure it's done for creative reasons." And I'm like, yeah, totally creative reasons. Let's see more of those boobs. And so everybody's happy. So I got onto boobs somehow, but talk about stuff like that when your buddies call up to say, hey, did you hear what's going on with Donnie Cates? Be like, Man, I don't know, but you know those, you know what is going on? Those boobs, the boobs in Game of Thrones. I like those boobs. Or if you're feeling spicy, those tits in Game of Thrones. Whatever you're into. Yeah, I don't care how you say it. That's a good idea. Just talk about that. Talk about tits. Don't talk about what Donny Cates is up to. The Donny Cates conversation only gets you into trouble because some jackass is then going to show up and go like, "Hey, Donnie, did you hear what?" We'll use him. I'll use this guy again as an example. You hear what Zub said about you? Zub was talking about how you were, this and that and all these terrible things. Don't get involved in that. No, no. Don't. You don't want that rumor mill. I mean, face it. That rumor mill is going to be out there regardless. Don't feed it with more craziness. It's only bad if you do. Just keep your mouth shut. Talk to your friends. Say, hey, did you hear about? But only talk to the friends who are gonna, shut the fuck up. That's what you do. What else you do? Stay in the industry? I don't know. This is a crazy idea, but try and do good work. So try and always evolve your skills. Try and read really popular, well-selling work, even if you think it sucks. Like, this is obviously not popular anymore, but when 50 Shades of Grey or Twilight and that kind of stuff come out, read Twilight. I mean, it's going to cause you to want to kill yourself at various times, so go ahead and read that book and then go to yourself, hey, here's somebody who made millions of dollars off of sparkly vampires and a teenage love triangle with vampires that sparkle. Huh. How did they make $1 million? And then try and figure that out and then work it into your work. That's not a bad idea. Pretty simple to stay in the industry. The best way to do it is not torch the industry down behind you. If you get taken off of a book, right? Some comic that you were working on gets canceled. That sucks. But here's the way you do it. The most productive way you do that. Just thank the company for the opportunity. Say, hey, thank you, Marvel. I'm very thankful that you took a chance on me to write this story about Iron Man's cousin who has a pet tiger. And I'm as surprised as you are that the comic only lasted 3 issues, but it was 3 great issues. And thank you very much for the opportunity. Pleasure to work with you and hope there's opportunity in the future. That's the right way to do it. The wrong way to do it is like, hey, Marvel, fuck your Iron Man Tiger cousin comic. You bunch of bitches, fuck off. I'm gonna do an interview on Newsarama where I talk about what a prick all you Marvel people are. That's the wrong way to do it. You're not going to get money from Marvel in the future. And any sane company will say, well, that person is clearly a toxic lunatic. Yeah, I mean, we all know Marvel kind of sucks, but you don't just go and burn down everything behind you. That indicates a unstable jackass that can only cause us problems in the future. Anyway, that's pretty much the way you do it. Anyway, I mean, if you want to stay in comics, the other thing you're going to need to do, find a second job. Because chances are you're not going to get paid enough to have the lifestyle you really want in comics alone. So try and figure out that other job of writing books or, writing scripts, whatever it happens to be. Just one of those. That's the right answer. Anyway, sorry for all the yawns. It is late, but I don't know. It's hot as hell, Steer. I mean, like it's August. Is it supposed to be this fucking hot in Texas? I don't know. Anyway, this video is this is going into the filler video. It's like I'm like comics where I produce a bunch of filler videos that go in the when you need to pull these out and put them in because they're not tied to any single event. And it dawned on me that I'm saying it's hot in August, and this video will go out in like December or like May of next year. And everybody will be like, what the fuck's he talking about? So anyway, that's the quality of the Perch Show. Thanks for listening.